pinch runner in for him.
This time, line drive, nice play by Jim Sly to pick that one off. That'll bring up the number 6 hitter, Jeff Hickey. Hickey is 1 for 2 in tonight's ball game. He's got a single to his credit in the 4th inning. 2 down. Runner at first. Hits it to the right side. He gets through for a base hit. Let's see if DeChico tries to go for third. He does. Right fielder falls down, and DeChico motors into third base easily. And now there's runners at the corner. First and third, 2 down. And Stonybrook trying to get the tying run in. Second base hit in the ball game for Jeff Hickey. Now Big Ed Zernato steps in. He is 1 for 2 in tonight's game. So far on the tournament, 5 for 11. And 3 RBIs. And undoubtedly, he'd like to pick up his 4th RBI right here. Very important one for
this is the spot.
ball club.
Tie the game now. This is still a home team ball game.
Certainly is. Ed takes a strike. Canteen's pitch is illegal. Zernato had a notion to go after that one until he heard it was illegal. Something about swinging at an illegal pitch, right?
It was up high. It was a bad pitch anyway.
This time he's got a base hit up the middle. That'll tie the ball game. Hickey flies around second. He's into third base. The ball is overthrown, and Hickey is going to try to score, and he does.
Bad play by that short fielder.
Scroncy will pick up the error, and that error allowed Hickey to score all the way from first base. Stonybrook leads it by the score of 3-2.
The outfielder played like he was disturbed. It was a base hit, and he just threw it wild. I think he was just mad at they tied the ball game, and it may cost him the ball game.
So an error on Scroncy allowing Hickey to score. This time Kershaw will have to go all the way to first, and he does.
Play.
Beating out John Redmond by just a step. So Kershaw continues to sparkle in the field. We'll have to give him a star for that one. He continues to go backhand, throw deep from the hole, and that time he got John Redmond. But a lot of action that inning. Stonybrook scores 2 runs on 3 base hits and 1 big, costly Kasden error. And you see the score at the end of 5½.
Well, the pitcher wasn't doing his job either. He's supposed to be over there backing up that throw.
That's the importance of hitting a cutoff man, isn't it, John?
Right.
No matter what kind of baseball or softball you play, whether it's fast pitch or slow pitch or junior league or major league, hitting the cutoff man, that's why they designed it that way.
That's right. That's why the play is there. Outfielder should only throw to the cutoff person and let that person determine where to throw it from there.
Much more accurate throw because they're much closer to the play, right?
And I believe that every throw into the bases, third base or second from a great distance, should come in on the hop anyway. And that one's completely over the third baseman's head. It didn't slip either.
No, he just completely unloaded on that. Yeah, he unloaded and that was it.
Yeah.
All right, so we move into the bottom of the 6th inning with the top of the lineup for Kasden coming up. Reach Bryce will lead things off. He is 1 for 2. Singled and then hit into an unassisted double play back in the 3rd inning. Single, and he scored the only run so far for Kasden. Lee Drake, long throw, gets him at first. Eddie G right on top of that close play. You see the momentum changing just a bit in this ball game. You can feel Stonybrook is charged up now. That's the break that they were looking for. Mike Holkovic steps in. He is 1 for 2 on the night. So far in the tournament, he's 3 for 10. Now he goes back to the dugout, possibly to hit a little pine tar or rosin or something to dry off his hands. Very warm evening. And, of course,
you can still, Stonybrook, you can watch them out there. They're a little nervous. They know that they can win this ball game.
Kasden, of course, has been here in this situation many times.
5
High, deep ball to right field. Should be easy for the right fielder, Neil Torganato, and he makes it.
There's a 6:45 special just going by.
Jim Sly will step in. Sly is 0 for 2. Nice play by John Redmond last time up, running over to first base to cover for Ed Zernata. 2 down now. Stonybrook leading it by 1. First pitch is a ball, and this one hit down the right field line. It is over toward Donato's head. Sly is going for 2.
Going to be 3.
He'll be going into third base, standing up. And so, Kasden fighting back. A triple for Jim Sly. Hitting it over Neil Tordonato's head in right field. Tordonato had no shot at that one. A line drive over his head right down the right field line. And now that'll bring up Paul Sponheimer in a key situation. The tying run at third base. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Sponheimer has, of course, the only RBI that, or one of the 2 RBIs for the Kasden club. That coming back in the 1st inning when he doubled off the fence in left center field. The division tournament. It'll feature the Devon News, the defending champions in this tournament, against Ollie Paps of Bridgeport. You previously saw Kasden 4-3. Stonybrook has to play the winner of this particular ball game in tonight's 3rd game. And that should be an interesting game right there because, of course, the loser there faces elimination, just as they do in this ball game, John Stratton. The loser goes home.
Well, this game is supposed to be a barn burner, a real good one. I have 2 personal friends that are pitching against each other, Len Libby and Warren Harding. I've known for many years and have played softball with and against. So I'm not sure who I'm going to root for.
It should be an interesting ball game. Devon News was knocked into the losers bracket early in the going. They lost to the Realty World of Trumbull 12-6 in the very first round after sitting out the first round for a bye. They came back to defeat Northeast Telephone 10-2 in their first losers bracket game. They went on to defeat Birch Place 17-2 in a game you saw here in Cablevision A. And they also came back to avenge their loss to Realty World by beating the Bombers 3-1. And Ollie Paps got to this particular ball game as the Ollie Paps squad takes the field. They beat Rays 9. He lost to Kasden 9-8 in 8 innings. Then he came back to beat Rays Grill 6-2, and then they edged out PYMC 7-6 in 9 innings in a very controversial ball game in which we won't get into it at this point, but it had to do with a particular ruling about a seldom invoked rule in softball about a interference call, and it hinged on the bottom of the 7th fact that PYMC thought they had won the ball game. It turned out not to be, and so consequently the Ollie Paps squad went on to win 7-6, and that's the way it's in the books at this particular time. Whether or not PYMC actually won the ball game or not is not up to question because Ollie Paps is here. That's too bad things like that have to happen, but there just goes down as breaks of the game, and they all even out over the years, so someday they may get the same type of break. Devon News is the the visiting team. They'll be up first. The home team, Ollie Paps, today, decided by the toss of the coin out at home plate. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Devon News squad. Bob Primavera is the guy that leads things off. That's the lineup for Ollie Paps. We can run that one down for you. Chris Garth is out in right center. Dennis Appel is in left center. Dave DeFelice is in right field. Brent Morrow is in left field. Bill Russell is at third base. Bo Gonzalez will be holding down first base. Tony Pasquarella at second base. Tony Masson and shortstop Mark Mangiamile. I hope I'll get that name right. Sometime during the night. And of course, Warren Harding on the mound. Leading things off for the Devon News, Bob Primavera, the shortstop. Primavera so far in the tournament is hitting 5 for 15 as the Devon News has played quite a few ball games in this year's tournament. The first pitch of the ball game is high, and it's called a ball by our home plate umpire, Ed G. Down at third base is Pete DiOrio, and at first base is Bob Mastroni. Mastroni, yes. He's the football coach at Bunnell High School. 1-1 now to Bob Primavera. On deck, Billy Jakes. There's a base hit for Primavera. Hits that one on the line to left field. Takes the big turn at first base, then heads back. So Devon News gets off to a good start. And Jakes will step in. He brings a 3 for 12 mark into today's ball game so far on the tournament. Devon News, defending champions in this particular tournament. They've also won this tournament 3 out of the last 4 years. They come into tonight's game with a 36-10 season record.
I wouldn't be surprised to see these Devon News in the finals.
Here's a base hit for Billy Jakes. Let's see what happens to Primavera. He's going to try for third. The throw comes into second. It's cut off there. And runners at the corners. No outs. Devon News has a threat going.
Of course, they have to get by this one first.
Well, they've been hitting the ball better and better as they've gone along through the tournament. And we saw them, of course, against Birch Place. They racked up 18 hits and 17 runs in that particular game. And this now brings up the big guy, John Rollins. Rollins has a couple of over-the-fence home runs to his credit in the tournament so far. He's 7 for 13 with 6 RBIs. First pitch is short for a ball. This one's hit high and deep to left center field. Should be pretty easy play for Dennis Appel. He's there. He makes the grab. The throw comes into second base, and Devon News leads it 1-0 as Primavera crosses the plate easily. So Rollins picks up his 7th RBI. Primavera scores. And that'll bring up Artie Romano. Art Romano is 3 for 10 so far on the tournament. 3 RBIs, a couple of runs scored. Make that Bill Carpenter. I skipped one in the lineup. Art Romano on deck. Billy Carpenter on the meanwhile. 6 for 14 in the tournament. That one misses for a ball. There's a base hit right up the middle for Carpenter. And it's booted out in the outfield. There'll be an error on that one as Jake sneaks into third base. Should be an error on the...
They allowed him to take an extra base.
Right center fielder. And it is a hit and an error. Allows Jakes to go on into third base. And now Art Romano steps in. Art won a home run hitting contest held not too long ago, sponsored by one of the beer companies. Got so many hits and so many to be able to put over the fence. Went on to a regional competition. So he's got the power. He's playing right field tonight. This one's hit to the right side. The right center fielder drops the ball. Jakes will score the second run for Devon News. Into third base goes Carpenter. And now the News leads it by the score of 2-0. They give a base hit on that one.
Yep. Tough play. Sinking line drive.
So Romano gets an RBI, and another run scores. And that'll bring up Steve Seidenberg. As you take a look at Artie Romano at first base, Seidenberg, I tell you, every time somebody gets up to the plate for Devon News, it looks like he's bigger than the guy before him. These guys are big. Seidenberg is considered to be the best hitter on this News squad. Coming into this ball game, he's 6 for 14, a couple of RBIs. He's got a chance to pick up one more right here with a base hit.
Ollie Paps look a little tight out there. Devon News looks real loose.
This one's hit back to Warren Harding. Goes to second, back to first. Double play.
Nice play.
Nice play by the pitcher, Warren Harding. He went to the shortstop, who in turn made the pivot and threw on to first base to get the double play and end the inning. But not before the Devon News scores 2 runs on 4 hits. There was one Ollie Paps error and 2 men left on. And with the end of the first half inning, Devon News leads it by the score of 2-0. That's the kind of way you want to get off in one of these ball games, John. Right. You want to take the initiative and get out in front early.
It takes away the butterflies a little bit, gives your defense a little chance to take it easy.
All right, let's take a look at how they line up out on the field for the Devon News. Bob Primavera is playing the shortstop position tonight. Billy Jakes out in left field. John Rollins at first. It'll be Bill Carpenter playing third base. Art Romano roaming the right field portion. Steve Seidenberg in right center. Tom Raguzinski, the coach, and only guy on the team with a beard. I guess you could classify him as that. He's at second base. That's why maybe he's the coach, right?
Probably.
Dave Harriet's the catcher. Frank Agvent is playing left center tonight, and Len Libby on the mound for the defending champs in this tournament.
It's too hot for a beard.
Stepping up, Chris Garth will be leading things off. So far in the tournament, Garth has only got 1 base hit. as he faces the first Len Libby pitch for a strike. He hits it high to right field. Romano comes in. He's got a bead and makes the play easily to retire Chris Garth. One away. Dennis Appel steps in. Dennis has had himself a pretty good tournament. 11 for 20. He's got 3 RBIs and has scored 8 runs so far.
Look at the size of him. He looks about 6'4", 5", about 230 pounds. He'll pull one out.
He's got to be right up there with the leaders, if not the leader in the tournament in terms of number of hits. I see his teammates got 12. This time it's hit into left field, base hit. So Appel continues his strong hitting in this particular tournament with a single to left field, and that'll bring up Dave DeFelice. DeFelice is hitting .500, 9 for 18.
He's not much smaller.
I tell you, this center of the lineup for Ollie Paps, all hitting at least .500.
If I look down at what they warm up with in the batting circle, it's a 12-pound sledgehammer. So they're pretty powerful people.
That's good for after the ball game, too, in case you get into trouble. So let's keep an eye on that. Dave DeFelice steps in. He's got 5 RBIs to his credit in this tournament. He's also scored 8 runs, so Ollie Paps has scored a lot of runs, at least the top of the order has for them. First pitch is in there for a strike. Second one is hit high and deep to left center field. Frank Agvent's there, makes the grab, quickly gets it back in, and we got 2 away. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Brent Morrow. Morrow is 12 for 20 on the tournament. 7 RBIs, 6 runs scored, so he's had a pretty good night for himself. A couple of nights during the tournament to be able to rack up 12 hits. Out of the 4 teams that we've seen tonight, that is the most of anybody, is those 12 hits, including the game before this one. So Brent Morrow leading the tournament in hitting, and he's got another one to his credit, base hit to left center field.
He's also leading in RBIs with 7. That's important. You can get 100 hits. If you don't knock any runs in, those are what win the ball games.
So now the Ollie Paps squad has got somewhat of a threat going. Runners at first and second, 2 down, though. And that'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Bill Russell. Russell is 7 for 19 on the tournament. Len Libby on the mound for Devon News, trying to get out of this jam. There's a base hit to left field.
He won't
comes
score. It's
Jakes.
going to be
Jakes.
close.
The throw is coming home. It's in time, but the ball gets away from the catcher, and everybody's going to be safe.
It was a good throw. I think he made it anyway.
It was close at the plate. Looked like the ball got there in time, but it was tough for the catcher to handle and block the plate and put the tag on him.
Yeah. You can't short hop the catcher. It's too tough to play.
Jakes got rid of the ball in time. And the runners move up on the throw, but Ollie Paps is on the board. And Devon News now leads it by a score of 2-1. Give Bill Russell an RBI, his 6th in the tournament. Here's Bo Gonzalez step in. Gonzalez is considered to be the best infielder, defensive-wise, on the squad. And so far in the tournament, he's got himself 7 hits and 18 trips. And there's a rip down the right field line. Foul. Base hit here could give the Ollie Paps squad the lead in the ball game. I think we're in for a real slugfest this ball game, John. Looks like both teams can hit the ball.
I was going to say that at the beginning of the game. Looked like it would be a high-scoring game, and I was a little afraid to after you get the minutes.
Well, it looks like that.
This is fun to watch.
A little bit different from the games previously we've seen here. Most of them defensive-oriented. Looks like Devon News might have the advantage defensive-wise. This one's hit deep to right field. Romano is back there. He's in foul territory, and it's out of play into the woods. And now it's 1-2 to big Bo Gonzalez. Here you see the runner heading back to second base. That is Bill Russell. Brent Morrow goes down to back to third base. Gonzalez got a base hit. It's just off of Ragazinski's glove. 1 run is in. Here comes the second run. The throw is cut off. It goes to second base. Not in time. And Ollie Paps has taken the lead 3-2. So Gonzalez comes through with a clutch base hit just off the outstretched glove of Tom Ragazinski. I thought for a minute Tom would pull that one in.
Yeah, I thought he'd get it. Nice play. He got up in the air quite a ways.
And as it turned out, it might have hampered the right center fielder, Steve Siedenberg, from getting the ball sooner and possibly...
You're right. It slowed it up enough so the runner could come around. By the way, I was just talking to Bob Lewis, and he gave an error to the left fielder on the throw-in that allowed the runners to move up a base.
Okay, so an error on the left fielder, Billy Jakes. That's the first one in the ball game for the Devon News. Bo Gonzalez has himself 2 RBIs. He's out at second base. Good hustle to move in there. That'll bring up Tony Pasquarella, the number 7 hitter, second baseman. Pasquarella is 7 for 18 in this tournament. I'll tell you, going down that lineup for Ollie Paps, regardless that they've played probably one more ball game than anybody else, they have a lot of guys with a lot of hits.
A lot of base hits.
And a lot of RBIs there. So you know that they're a team that scores a lot of runs.
They hit that good line drive. I don't know if it's the pitching or the hitting right now, but the pitching seems to be low. Doesn't seem to be getting the ball up high enough.
Len Libby on the mound for the Devon News. They find themselves behind in the bottom of the first inning, 3-2. This one hit to the third baseman, gets through. Left fielder Jay picks it up. He'll go to second base to hold that runner out of scoring position as Gonzalez scores easily, and it'll be a base hit and an RBI for Tony Pasquarella. And Ollie Paps now leads it by the score of 4-2.
I think he had a shot at home. Of course, I don't think 4-2 is going to be the final score of this game.
Might have been wise there. A couple times they tried to throw out the runner at home. The base runners moved up on him and scored on base hits. So this time they want to keep him off the second base and keep him out of scoring position. Number 8 here now, Tony Masson steps in, the shortstop. He cranks one to left field. Jakes in his tracks is there and collects the line drive easily. But Ollie Paps comes up with 4 runs on 5 hits and 1 Devon News error. And at the end of 1 inning, it's Ollie Paps 4, Devon News 2. We should have an exciting ball game for you, so stick around here on Cablevision A.
Hey, what you doing?
Brandon, Lee jeans are genuine.
Just can't go around branding strangers, cowboy.
I'm a Lee cowboy.
Well, this ain't your territory.
I'm rounding up everybody and Brandon and Lee.
Hey, you're pretty cute.
She's one of the good guys.
Available at Carroll Sports Shop, Station House Square, Stratford.
Tom Ragosinski is scheduled to be the leadoff hitter in this particular inning. Ragosinski hitting 7th, playing second base tonight. Top half of the second inning, Mike Sella and John Stratton with you from Memorial Field in Stratford. And we've got some exciting action already. 6 runs scored in the very first inning of play. Of course, last time we did the Devon News ball game, they scored 17 in the ball game to defeat Bert's Place at Bridgeport. So they like to play that offensive-type ball game and see what Ragosinski does. He goes to right field, base hit.
Beautiful. That's the way he was the other night.
Tommy has had himself quite a tournament. Looking at the stats that Bob Lewis sent over, that is his 11th hit in 14 trips. That'll bring up Dave Harriet. Dave is 5 for 10 on the tournament with 4 RBIs. That's quite impressive. Ragosinski's 11 for 14.
It's quite a batting average. He's a good hitter.
Harriet takes the first Warren Harding pitch short for a ball. No outs. Top half of the second inning. And Ragosinski's on first for the Devon News.
Left-hand hitter, but they play him to push the ball down the left field line.
Harriet watches the second one short. 2-0 now. Here's a strike. Say, Warren Harding does not waste any time on the mound. He's like a pitching machine out there. He just keeps firing. If you're not ready, that's your problem.
Well, he's got the lead now.
Harriet, base hit. The first baseman, Gonzalez, misplayed that one. Second base is Ragosinski. He's in there standing up and he'll hold.
That's definitely a hit, but I think he could have caught that ball and handcuffed him.
I think he took his eye off it for just
Probably.
a minute, just a moment to see where the runner was, possibly to double him off, and that one went by for a base hit. And there you see Dave Harriet. A nice line drive. Runners at first and second, no outs. Frank Agvent will step in. Agvent 4 for 7 in the tournament. Hitting just slightly over 500. Got a chance here to add to his RBI total of 3 And now a time has been called as Ragosinski and Harriet will converse out there in the center of the infield.
Not sure what they could be talking about. Maybe he hurt his leg going down the first base.
Yeah, he wanted to double check to see if he's all right. Got a number of people on the bench that they could bring in and probably not lose anything. Looks like Dave will stay in the ball game, at least for the moment. So Agvent is up there. And there's a strike.
In fast pitch, they'd be able to take him out and put him back in again.
Agvent hits one to the right center field. Right center fielder got a late start. Now Ragosinski tags, and he'll be into the third base standing up. Nice play that time by Chris Garth. Got a late start on the ball and then got to it. It was almost over his head. One down now in the inning. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Len Libby. Libby can help himself out here with a base hit. Not having a bad tournament. 4 for 11. 5 RBIs. Anytime you have more RBIs than you do base hits, you know you're got a clutch hitter up there.
Good sign.
So Lenny, with one out here, can pick up another RBI, and they appeal the fact that Ragosinski might have left early from second base, but the umpire out there, Pete DiOrio, says no.
I'm surprised there are 3 umpires tonight for this game. They said that loser's bracket game would be 2 umpires only.
That one's inside.
This game is so fast, and the ball moves all over the field so quickly. You need 3 umpires.
Libby watches another one outside, 2-0. Really is. When they start moving around the base paths, there's a strike. And, of course, the base path's only 60 feet. Anything can happen. Libby goes to right center field. Right center fielder right there almost misplays the ball again. They'll let the run score. Ragosinski scores easily.
He's having some trouble out there.
So Libby gets a sacrifice fly.
It's a tough time at night to play, right at dusk. Sometimes you lose the ball in the crowd.
So now the Devon News has cut that advantage to 1-4-3, and they send up the leadoff hitter, Bob Primavera. Primavera singled and scored last inning. Bobby's played with this group of fellas, Devon News, for a long time. Hits it off the right side. Right fielder is there. Dave DeFelice makes the grab, and that ends the inning. But Devon News scores 1 run on 2 base hits, and there was 1 man left. And at the end of 1.5, it stands Ollie Paps 4 and Devon News 3. Taking a look at how Ollie Paps made it into this particular ball game. They won their first game in the winners brackets by defeating Rays together 9-1. They then lost to Kasden, which has already clinched the berth in the championship game, 9-8 in 8 innings. They defeated Rays Grill in a losers bracket game 6-2. Also defeated PYMC 7-6 in 9 innings. And that's how they end up against the Devon News in this particular ball game tonight. Stepping in for Ollie Paps, Mark Mangiamelli, the catcher. Mangiamelli so far on the tournament, 8 for 17, 3 RBIs. He gets a hold of this one, drives it down left field. Jakes is there, makes a nice grab.
Great catch.
What a catch by Billy Jakes. Heading into the fence, foul ball, and he made the grab. That's why on the sheet that we gave the Devon News before the game, we asked Tom Ragosinski to fill it out, put down their best outfielder. They said Bill Jakes, and that's one of the reasons why.
He proved it there. That was tough play going into the fence.
There you see Billy. And now Warren Harding steps up. Why don't you fill us in a little bit on Warren Harding, John? He's been playing softball for as long as I can remember. Yeah,
I've known Warren for many years, and he seems to get thinner and thinner every time I see him. Great person, great person. He has played slow pitch for AFCO, Lycoming. He's played with many of the clubs in the area.
Yeah, he was part of those national winners over at AFCO.
I'm not sure whether he was or not, but he's been playing for a long time. He has his heart as big as his stomach. Believe me, he's a super person.
Stepping in, top of the order now, Chris Garth with 2 down. Garth flew out to right field back in the first inning. And this one hit right back to Len Libby. Got it easy, flips it over to Rollins, and the side is retired in order. 3 up and 3 down at the end of 2 innings. It's still Ollie Paps 4 and Devon News 3. We'll have the top half of the 3rd inning coming up with hitters number 2, 3, and 4 for Devon News coming up, so don't go away.
Nights look great, nights look black. We're on the 8, she's got a knack. You can have a great meal or just a snack, 'cause we treat you like a winner at Teletrack.
At Teletrack, we always treat you like a winner. From live racing on our giant screen to special events every day of the week.
Come day or night, you'll be coming back, 'cause we treat you like a winner at Teletrack.
All right, Mike Sellen and John Stratton here at Memorial Field in Stratford. A pretty good-sized crowd here attending the ball games tonight. Of course, no better place to come out and take your shirt off and sit in the stands.
Well, I was counting the house before, and I think we had about 2,400 people here.
You count them individually, John?
Yeah, one at a time.
All right. Stepping in, Billy Jakes for Devon News. Jakes has got a base hit and a run scored to his credit in the ball game. Devon News trying to chip away at a 1-run lead held by Ollie Paps. That one's outside. Jakes takes another one for a ball from Warren Harding. Warren didn't like that pitch. Bare hands to throw back.
Warren just never gets mad at anything. I don't think anything really bothers Warren.
That's the way you have to be as
Yes.
a softball pitcher, I'll tell you. See some strange happenings out there in a softball field.
Maybe outwardly it bothers him, but inwardly I know not much that bothers him.
2-1 now to Bill Jakes. This one hit right back to the pitcher on the line. So Jakes gets a good piece of, I can't even say a good piece of wood anymore, John.
Yeah.
It's the aluminum bats.
It's funny, my wife was saying today we watched the ball game, and she hollered out, "You got good wood on the ball," to my son, and then she said, "No, you got good aluminum on the ball." She said, "What do you say?" And I said, "I'm not sure." So we said, "We hit it good."
Yeah. I guess you could say you got a good piece of wood on that. Nobody's going to contradict you at this point. Here's John Rollins, who steps in. He's got a sacrifice fly and an RBI tonight. He's also got 7 hits and 13 trips to the plate in this particular tournament. 6 RBIs and 2 over-the-fence home runs. And he gets too much under this one, sends the right center fielder back deep. There's Chris Garth about 10 feet away from the fence, and he hauls it in. Nothing more than a fly ball if you don't get all of it.
Nope.
And that'll bring up Bill Carpenter. Carpenter's got a base hit for himself tonight.
I think that's the problem. A lot of these teams play in open fields, and then they get to a fenced-in field and they try to go for the home run, and it's pretty hard to do. Last time I said that, he parked one.
Carpenter looks at the first pitch outside. I think it's more psychological than anything, you know. They changed something to get the ball over the fence instead of just trying to hit it their usual stroke.
Well, it's the big thing in baseball is hit the home run. That's what everybody talks about.
Here's one hit up the middle. Nice play by Masson. Throws on to first base, and there's 3 up and 3 down. So the former Central High standout and Clemson standout makes a nice grab there. And at the end of 2.5, we stand at 4-3 in favor of the Ollie Paps squad out of Bridgeport. Things settling down a little bit in the second and third innings after a...
Kind of going to sleep. They're sitting on their runs. And that happens sometimes. In our game also, we get 3 or 4 runs in the first inning, and we sit on it for 6 innings. And you shouldn't do that. I know when the Brakettes play at fields that have fences, a lot of times they try to go for the home run. We end up not scoring too many runs. And when they do, we get maybe 1 home run or 2 home runs a season, and it's really not worth trying.
Bottom of the third now as Ollie Paps will send up the number 2 hitter, Dennis Appel, who's got a base hit and a run scored tonight. Hitting 12 for 21 in the tournament. He'll lead things off here, try to set the table for some other folks coming behind him. He gets a base hit right up the middle. Nice line drive, just met the ball and drove it through the middle. Trots over to first base.
Second hit in the same place.
Dave DeFelice will step in, the right fielder, the number 3 hitter, flied out to left center his first time up. David's got 9 hits and 19 trips. The last week or so that this tournament's been running. I'd like to salute Joe Barber for putting this tournament together. Does a pretty good job in rotating and juggling the schedules of a number of different organizations that use the Memorial Field.
When it comes to running tournaments, nobody does it better than Joe Barber. All over the country, we've played in tournaments for the last, well, 20-some years, the Breakettes. And the best, when people talk about Ray Besser, they talk about the quality of the tournament, and it's Joe Barber's fault. He's well organized. And we say we're going to play at 8 o'clock, you play at 8 o'clock.
Joe was telling me when we were setting things up in terms of coverage for this particular event, if Breakettes or anybody else didn't use the field, he could probably run this tournament out in about 3 days. Run the 27 games through, and there's a walk by Lenny Libby.
A little argument going on down there.
And we want to thank him for all his help in setting us up.
Of course, it's a beautiful field. You can do anything you want here. The parking is super. And the weather, and when the weather's good, everything runs smoothly.
And there's just about every seat in the house is a good one to see the ballpark.
Great ground crew. They work hard, keep the field in good shape.
Here's one hit to left field by Brent Morrow. It's a base hit.
He's going to score.
Run will score, and they hold the runner at second base. So Brent Morrow continues his fine hitting. He's now 2 for 2 in the ball game. Give him an RBI in that one, and he's got 14 hits and 22 at-bats.
Still no outs.
Yeah, Ollie Paps showing why it's here. They can hit that line drive. So 2 hits and a walk and nobody out. And that'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Bill Russell, who's got a base hit and an RBI. And he drives Agvent deep, and Agvent finally catches up with it, makes the throw back to the infield. With the runner moving on over to third base, and Brent Morrow heading into second. So although that was not considered a sacrifice fly because you have to have somebody score on it, it's just as good as a sacrifice bunt in any other kind of fast-pitch softball.
Less than 2 outs is a must to move those runners up.
And that's exactly what happened. That sets it up for Bo Gonzalez, who had a big hit back in the first inning, a 2-run single with 2 outs. So Gonzalez, clutch hit there. He's got a chance to pick up 2 more RBIs right here with a base hit. Goes after the first pitch, hits it deep to right field. Drives the right fielder deep. Romano is there, makes the grab. Here comes 1 run, it'll score, and Morrow holds up at second base, and now Ollie Paps leads it 6-3.
Runner at second made a mistake. Even if it went over their right fielder's head, he could have scored.
So DeFelice scores. Morrow remains at second base, and now we've got 2 away. That'll bring up Tony Pasquarello, who had an RBI single in the first. And he may have one right here. There's a base hit to center field. Here's the run. And it gets through the catcher, Harriet. The runner will go down to second base. And Ollie Paps now leads it by the score of 7-3. Good throw, might have had him, John.
Foul throw was there, went right through the catcher's legs. It was tough. Again, another short hop to the catcher. We'll see what Bob Lewis says. He says a hit and an error. Be an error on... It'd be hard to give the catcher an error on that. It's a tough throw.
So he might give it to the left center field.
I think they will.
There's another base hit. That one by Tony Masson. Another run will score, and the throw goes into second base. And now Ollie Paps leads it by the score of 8-3. Four runs in the inning for Ollie Paps.
Well, I don't think a 5-run lead is too hard to overcome. I think that Devon News will come back with a few.
It's always an old friend of all the sports announcers, momentum that they talk about. Right now, Ollie Paps has it, as they've been able to tattoo Len Libby for 1, 2, 4 hits in this inning, and they've hit him hard. Here's Mark Mangiamile.
He'll be out of here.
He hits one down the left field side off the hot dog stand. A nice catch by one of the fans down the left field side. Pitch is outside, 2-2 now.
I said before, the lens seems to be pitching low. It's not getting a high enough arc, and makes it easy to hit.
This one's hit to the left side. Is it foul ball? Yes, it is. Jakes is there. He'll catch it anyway. And the side is retired. But not before Ollie Paps picks up 4 runs on 4 base hits and 1 Devon News error. And at the end of 3 innings, the score stands as you see it there. Ollie Paps leading it by 5.
For over 30 years, this name has welcomed many families to homes here in Casale country. Why do you choose to buy now?
Casale Real Estate explained the opportunities available to us in today's economy by buying now.
Casale Real Estate knew how to utilize many financing plans to our advantage, such as the 12% mortgage they arranged for us.
Just one of the reasons why Casale Real Estate is a proven leader. Having the area's largest selection of available housing is why this is Casale country.
Devon News trying to battle back here in the top half of the 4th inning as you take a look at Warren Harding, pitcher for Ollie Paps. See how hard these guys are working out there. They're really working up quite a sweat tonight. Of course, it's a nice warm even to do that. Artie Romano will step in. Art's got an RBI single to his credit back in the 1st inning.
We're going to have to get a couple of runs back here, I think.
Now they've got to start hitting that line drive. Last inning they had a couple of line drives, hit right at people. There's a ball from Warren Harding. Second pitch coming up. And Romano hits one deep to left field, driving the left fielder back, and it's off the fence.
Going to get 2?
He'll take 2, standing up. That time Brent Morrow went all the way back to the fence, jumped, but it hit the fence. So Art Romano has himself a double. And most importantly for Devon News, they've got the leadoff man on and in scoring position. Steve Siedenberg will step in. Steve hit himself into a double play. Started by the Warren Harding, the pitcher for Ollie Paps. That broke up a possible big inning in the 1st for Devon News.
Nice play by Warren. Put it either way, it'd have been a base hit. He's big out there, but he can move left or right.
Very agile out there.
Good glove, yeah.
And as we've mentioned so many times before, the pitcher in slow pitch softball acts as another infielder. Try to close up that gap in the middle. First pitch is a ball to Siedenberg. Second one is hit up in the air to the right center fielder. It's over his head. And that'll be a base hit. Romano rounding third. He'll score. Siedenberg is into third base with a stand-up triple.
Nice shot. For some reason, they're having trouble out there in the outfield following that ball.
So Steve gets himself an RBI. Art Romano scores, and now it's an 8-4 ball game. That one had the right fielder Chris Garth fooled there, John. He didn't look like he got a good start on it, and the ball just kept carrying and carrying, and went right over his head. And Siedenberg, with the good speed, into third base, standing up.
He had a little trouble last inning. I think he should play a little bit deeper. He might have maybe easier for him to come in on the ball and go back.
Tom Ragosinski steps in. Ragosinski's got a base hit and a run scored tonight. And he goes to the right side. Foul. Just foul. Look at Tom. He's a little upset with himself.
He has good control of that bat.
We'll have to do it all over again. As we mentioned, his first time up, he is now 11 for 14 in the tournament.